Shalom, Shalom, Israel. It's Manatazak here with the Warriors of Israel, located in Chicago. And first off, I want to start off by saying, Call Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Rikar Kwadash. And I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Israel. And I want to give double honors to the brothers that's out here on the streets week in and week out preaching this word in truth and sincerity, waking up the elect and making their calling an election sure. And last but not least, I can't forget about the Aquas out there holding the household down, maintaining the household, taking care of the kids, doing what they do, doing what they supposed to do. I love the sisters, man. So I just want to get into a short, quick lesson, man, about how God views his creation. Because, people want to read the Bible, but first off, you can't understand the Bible unless you understand who you are in it, because the Bible deals with creation and nationalities of people, different nations of people. So, God got some enemies in his Bible, and he got some friends and some family members who he loves in his Bible. So we want to see where do the people stand. Where do you stand in the Bible? So let's see. Let's go through it, man. See? So we're going to start off with the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 54, out the Apocrypha. And it reads, And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord over all, Salakia, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. Because we know that everybody in the world comes from Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. We know that God made him Lord over all the creatures in the garden. He told him to name all the creatures. And it says, of him come we all. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. Because God got some people whom he chose too. So there's the separation and the division right there. So you got the people who come from Adam. And then you got God's chosen people, which is the Israelites. Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made the world for our sakes. So the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, made the whole world for the sakes of his chosen people, the Israelites. The beautiful rainforest, Hawaii, all the land, all the jungles, all the scenery that you see that's so beautiful, everything that you see was made for us, for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, God's chosen people, the Hebrew Israelites. The whole world was made for our sakes. So it says, verse 56, as for the other people, which also come of Adam. So now we're talking about the other people that's not his chosen people. It says that thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So the other people who come from Adam, not the Israelites, not the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, Seminole Indians, he says that they are like nothing. They like spittle. So like he said that they are nothing and be like unto spittle, spit that fly out your mouth, mucus. That's how the Most High views the other people that's not Israelites, his chosen people. So it says, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So if you got a bucket of mop water and you finna go and mop the house, and you coming out of the washroom with the bucket of water and you drop a splash of water on the ground, you don't really care about that drop of water, because what you need is in the bucket, and that's what you need. That's what's special to you. What's in the bucket is special to you. So if that little drop of water fall out, is miscellaneous, irrelevant, you know? So the Most High views the other people in the world, Chinese people, African people, Arab people, you know, he views them, white people especially, so-called white people. He views them all as nothing, spit, a drop of water. And it goes on to say, verse 57, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and devour us. So the Lord's chosen people are being devoured by the other nations who have been forever reputed as nothing. Since the beginning of time, the Most High has viewed the other people as nothing that come out of Adam. If you didn't come out of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Most High not dealing with you. You know? So, let's just go into Deuteronomy chapter 28. Just to get a few prophecies on what God's chosen people, the Israelites, are going through. And how do we know that it's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that are the Israelites? The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. For those of you who don't know, the word hearken means to listen, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So this is Moses after the Exodus. This is Moses telling God's chosen people the commandments. And he says, if you fail to keep these commandments, all these curses is going to come upon you, because you are God's chosen people and he loves you. He made you bigger, better, and stronger than everybody. He set his love upon you when he made creation from the foundations of the world. So he says if we fail to keep these commandments and listen to his voice, all these curses going to come upon us and overtake us. Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. When you look at world history, and when you look at modern history today, and ancient history, when you look at the world history all together, what people have been cursed in the city and cursed in the field? Who was in the slave fields pricking their fingers on thorns, picking cotton, sun up to sun up, eating the bare necessities just to keep you alive? Who was cursed in the field? Hot as hell. 120 degrees. Getting tortured by a red man. That sounds like hell to me. Cursed shall thou be in the city. Who getting killed in Chicago, where I live? It ain't the Chinese man in Chinatown. It ain't the white people in Hyde Park. There's places like Little Village and Back of the Yards and South Shore and Inglewood and Bronzeville. We cursed in the city. So like, that's for me right there. When I first read that, that was enough for me. Cause I grew up in church. They used to sing that song, we blessed in the city, blessed in the field. But we cursed in the city and we was cursed in that field, man, you know? Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. So which group of people out of real history, past, present, which group of people do you know kill a brother every day? Every day It's another black man killing another black man. Because at one point in time it says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate. At one point in time, we would greet each other. How you doing, King? You good? You need anything? How you your people's all good? Your kids need anything? That's how we was when we was living in our own land before we was ran out of our homeland by the Romans in 70 AD. We was tender and delicate and had love with each other, but now our eyes are evil toward our brother, and towards the wife of our bosom, and towards the remnant of our children, which we shall leave. You know? So it's like we leaving our kids, we arguing with our baby mothers, fighting our baby mothers. We the people. We the people, man, you know? So it also says, verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now we know that Moses just took the people out of Egypt. And they walked into Egypt and they walked out of Egypt. So they didn't need ships to get to and from Egypt. The only reason they had to walk through the Red Sea is because Ramses and the rest of the Egyptian army was on their heels finna try to kill them. So God had to split that water open and they rushed through. But they could have they was on their way to walking around, you know. So it says that he will send you into Egypt again with ships. Why would you need ships to go into Egypt? Because he's not talking about the land of Egypt. He's talking about spiritual Egypt, which is what's on the back of your dollar, America. Who do you know out of world history, past and present, went into slavery on ships? Because we know that the word Egypt means bondage, house of bondage, or slavery. Let's prove that right quick. The book of Exodus, verse 2. Salakia, verse 20 and 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So the Most High is letting us know that the word Egypt is synonymous with bondage. So it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into bondage again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it again no more. Because we will never ever see our homeland again anymore. We will never ever see Jerusalem anymore after we go into slavery again on ships. And then he says, and there ye shall be sold. So he's telling you that you're going to be sold and bought and purchased unto your enemies. You shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So it says, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies. So when we got off them slave ships in Jamestown, Virginia, 1619, August 21st, we were sold on the auction blocks to our enemies, according to the Bible. And no man ever redeemed us. Abraham Lincoln set the slaves free, so-called. Nobody ever gave us no money reparations, 40 acres and a mule, sent us back to Africa, to Israel, to our homeland, you know. So it says that no man shall buy you. No man will ever redeem you. Nobody ever came and got us out of this captivity. We still held captives to this day. That's why Jesus, Yahweh Shai, said he's come to set the captives free. He's coming to take us back home. Because this ain't our home. We might have been born in Chicago, but this ain't your home. You just a citizen. But we know that God views everybody as spit or nothing or a drop out of a bucket. So let's see how he feels about the Israelites, about the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, Seminole Indians. The Most High says, "For thou art an," this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So do that mean we supposed to walk around here bougie, thinking we better than somebody? No, we don't have time to hate on people and to look down on people. We ain't got time for that. We kings and princesses and gods walking on the earth. So we have to keep in mind that we above all people because it's in our DNA. Well, DNA we know is not, that's Esau's science. But in our blood, he made us bigger, better, and stronger than everybody. That's why you got Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, the best in the world at what they do. Simone Biles, Gabby Douglas, the best in world history at what they do. Nobody can do what the Most High chosen people can do. And they hate us because of that, They hate you because they ain't you. So, let's see who the Most High hates. Because we know he loves the Israelites. He made them special to him. It says, verse 7, "The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people." So he loved us because he made us to love us. A small portion out of all the people he made, 18 nations of people, he chose the smallest group to love. So you got to realize that you are his chosen people. Now let's get into who he hate, man. Because I hate whoever he hate. Like King David said in the Psalms. The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 13. "As it is written, Jacob have I loved." We know that Jacob's name was later changed to Israel because he wrestled with the Lord and overcame. So the Lord changed his name to Israel, which in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew tongue would be Yasharallah, meaning he Prince Power, or he is the Prince of the Power, because we know that Yahweh, I am, he is the power, he exists. So when Jacob wrestled with the angel, he overcame because he fought for that blessing and he overcame and won. So his name was changed to the Prince of the Power. So the Most High say he loved Jacob and his descendants and everybody who come out of him, the nation of Israel, the Israelites. But Esau have I hated, which is Jacob's twin brother. Now the word Esau is Ishashua in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, which would mean wasted away is he. So when he was born, his father, Isaac, seen that he had no melanin. So when Isaac, when Isaac seen that he had no melanin, he named him wasted away as he. Ishashua. Because he came out red and hairy all over. So the Most High says, "But Esau I have hated." What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. So can we say God is wrong for making Esau to hate him? And what did Esau do that made the Most High hate him? God forbid, man. The Most High is not wrong for hating him. But let's see what Esau did. that made the Most High hated him. Verse 16. So then, it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. For scriptures, for scripture have said, Salakia, for the scriptures saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, that I might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he hardeneth. So it didn't matter what Esau did. It didn't matter what Jacob did. He hated Jacob. Salakia. He loved Jacob because he made him to love him. And he hated Esau because he made him to hate him. Now let's get up. We know that we are under the prophecy about the curses in Deuteronomy 28 about, cursed in the city, having an evil eye towards our brothers, slavery on ships. We know that that's the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, So let's see who Esau is and the Edomites. Genesis chapter 25, verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Like I said, when the father Isaac saw him being born red all over, you could see his blood through his skin. So he had no melanin. So they named him Ishawa, which means wasted away is he. So it goes on to say, Salakia, verse 30 is what I'm looking for. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same bread pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom, because Edom in the ancient Paleo Hebrew is Adawam, meaning red. So Esau asked Jacob to feed him with the red pottage, the red meat, the red bloody undone meat. So his name was changed from no melanin, wasted away as he, Esau, to Edom, red, because he ate the red undone meat. So let's get the proof that the pottage, the red pottage, is meat. And I believe it's Hebrews, if I'm not mistaken. What I'm looking for. Oh yeah, that's the word. Salakia. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or a profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So we know that the Most High is calling Esau a profane, vile, sick, freaky, pedophile, homosexual fornicator who eats red, bloody meat. So which group of people out of world history, past, present, likes red, bloody meat and put the Most High's people in slavery on ships and are called the enemies of God's chosen people? It's the so-called white man. So the Most High love blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Israelites, and he hate the Edomites, the so-called white people, with a perpetual hatred. Let's get the book of Obadiah and see how the Lord feels about the Edomites. Because I can tell you right now, he ain't got too much good to say about him. But we gonna see. It says for the the book of Obadiah chapter 1 verse 10, for the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So the Most High says that the so-called white race, for their violence against God's chosen people, that they are cut off forever, period. The people with no melanin, the red people, who sold their birthright for red bloody meat, it says that, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Verse 15, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But about his chosen people, the Israelites, Mount Zion, he says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. The definition of holy means separate. So there's going to be separatism in the house of the Most High. And we're going to own all the possessions of the Edomites. And it says, in the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, in the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. So he says that the house of Jacob shall be a house of fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. Stubble is what you put in the fire. The house of Esau is going to be used to make the fire burn. So the Edomites, the so-called white race, the red people with no melanin, everybody in the world got melanin, all races. Chinese, Indian, Japanese, I don't care what you is. But the Caucasian man is the Edomite, no matter if you from Germany, Russia, France, Italy, Italia, all, it don't matter. You a so-called white man, Caucasian man, ain't gonna be none of y'all remaining, man, at the end of the day. You know? Because what goes around comes around. We know that. Karma. That's what the Most High says. In the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the saints are faithfully and patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, to come back and put somebody in captivity, in slavery, and to kill some people with the sword. We waiting on him to come back and do that to Esau for what they did to us. That's righteous judgment. Because they not going to get judged on this earth by themselves. They not going to lock themselves up. That's why the Amber Geiger killed Botham Jean, walked in his house and killed him. He was eating ice cream and they gave her 10 years. She got to do 5 years plus probation. His whole life gone. Because she was an Edomite and killed them for no reason. It's in their blood to hate for no reason. The Most High made them like that. We got to deal with it. They got to deal with it. So I hope this cleared up a little bit for the people out there, so we can wake up our nation so he can come back, because we waiting on him to come back. He waiting on us. He waiting on us to wake up out of sleep. Stop being simple. Stop loving simplicity. Loving hip-hop, Instagram, world star hip-hop, twerking, game banging, hating your brother. We got to turn our evil eye away from each other, man, and keep these commandments. Love each other, love the Most High, man. Stop killing each other, put the guns down. Read the Bible, find out who you is. Find out what we did to make God mad. Find out which laws and commandments we broke. And come back to keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, because that's the whole duty of everybody on earth. I don't care if they talking about Christianity, talking about the law done away with. We ain't got to do none of this. Well, why is the Lord saying that the whole duty of mankind is to keep the commandments? The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of mankind. Don't eat pork. Don't eat shrimp, crab, lobster, shellfish. Grow your beard out. Don't marry the other nations. Don't marry the so-called white women. Don't marry the Chinese women. Marry your own people. Keep God's laws. Keep your body clean. Because that's the only way you're going to get into heaven, man, despite what they telling you at church every Sunday, man. Because Jesus said it, man, out his own mouth. He said, verse 12, Revelation chapter 22, verse 12, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to his work shall, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. What works is he talking about? He's talking about the commandments. Because he says right above that, verse 11, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. So if you holy and righteous and you keeping God's commandments, keep them. And if you telling this to somebody and they ain't listening, let them continue to be unjust and filthy. That's why Jesus says, verse 7, behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keep the sayings of the prophecy of this book. What is the sayings of the prophecy of this book saying? It's saying that Jesus is going to give the reward to the people according to their works. Because faith without works is dead. So you can't just have faith in Yahweh Shai and you ain't working. Verse 14, New Testament, Revelation, chapter 22. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. Come. So with that, I'm going to say shalom to Israel. Come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Kwam Yasharallah.